I'm making this video as an exercise to answer a question I have for myself. And that question is this. If a JavaScript module, say foo.js, is referenced from more than one JavaScript module, then is there more than one copy or instance of the referenced module foo.js at play, or is there just a single instance? Why is this important? Let's say you have a module called one.js which references foo.js. So I'll make foo.js. I won't put anything into it right now. And you have another module called two.js which also references foo.js. That's because maybe foo has something important like some function that hogs a lot of CPU time. Let's say you're fingerprinting your users using their battery levels, their graphics card level, their canvas, and something to do with their sound cards. So this is going to take a lot of CPU time. But one also references two.js. The question then is, since one references two.js and two also references foo.js, will this expensive CPU expensive code run again and again every time? So that's the question I wanted to answer for myself, and I've got the answer, but I want to walk you through the demonstration to arrive at the answer. So let's just put something over here, and I'll just put a console.log saying started reading foo, and two.js simply references foo, and one.js references foo, and then it references two. Now, is foo.js going to execute two times or just one time? That's my question. To answer that question, let's make an HTML file. I'll call it test.html. Let's run this. I've got this set up on a server. If I go to the browser, DevTools, I don't see anything in the console. Why is that? Okay, it looks like if one.js doesn't do anything at all, not simply that one.js doesn't do anything with foo.js or two.js, but simply doesn't do anything at all, as in has no code at all, then the browser is not going to bother loading any of the modules it depends on, because it knows it doesn't do anything. It's not going to do anything anyway. That's smart of the browser. But if one.js does something, anything at all, even if it doesn't use these modules, look at what happens here. It loads foo.js and then it loads one.js. Is that the sequence? I don't know. But the interesting thing to note is that started reading foo.js, the message appeared only once, which seems to indicate that foo.js is loaded only once. Let's verify that. How do we verify that? Let's put something inside of foo here. Let's say how many times foo invoked equals 0, and then every time foo is invoked, I'll say how many times foo invoked plus plus. But you guessed my foolishness. This is a local module level variable. So every time the module is accessed, I don't know if it's going to be accessed multiple times or not. That's the question I'm going to answer for myself. But regardless, this code is simply not. It's silly because it's going to declare a variable. If it runs again and again, it's going to declare a variable and initialize it to 0, and then this will always be 1. So that will not give us the answer. Instead, why not make a global window level variable, and then we can increase that. And I can console.log that variable here. I can say window dot how many times in fact, let me run this. Let's go to two.js and also try and access something from foo.js. So for that, let me put another variable over here. Let message equals message from foo.js. And let's actually export this so that other modules can call this. So I'll put it on the top. And in two.js, I'm going to read I'll say foo.message read from two.js, and the answer is foo.message, and I will read foo.message from one.js as well. And then I will try and read how many times this was accessed. In fact, let's say foo.js this is printed from foo.js, this is printed from two.js, and this one's printed from one.js. So let's see what we're actually doing here. We import something from foo.js and we use that. And I imported something from two.js. Let me try and use that as well. So in fact, in between here, let me put something in two.js if I haven't got anything. Okay, I haven't got anything here. So I'll just say export let message equals message from two.js. And in one.js, I'm going to use one.js reads message from two.js. Let me make this an interpolated string or a formatted templated string. I'll say two.js, two.message. So if foo.js runs multiple times, then let's guess, before running it, let's guess what's going to happen. The first line, first test.html accesses one.js, so let's start guessing. This line is going to be read, so it's going to jump to foo.js and execute this bunch. That means it's going to first assign a variable which won't print anything, then it's going to print this line. So first thing we're going to see is this started reading foo.js. Then it's going to assign another variable and increment that variable. Oh, this is a bug. I shouldn't assign it again and again. I should just say window dot how many times foo invoked. If that's undefined, only then initialize it. My keyboard is not the best keyboard in the world. Okay, so it's going to come here, print, it's going to assign a variable, then it's going to say started reading foo.js, then it's going to see if this is the first time this variable isn't defined, so it's going to define this variable. Sorry, it's going to define this variable, and then you want to increment this variable regardless of how many times this was called. So it's going to it's going to initialize this variable to 0, then it's going to increment this. This is going to become 1. Then it's going to print this. Foo.js says 1 times I was invoked. Then it's going to go to the next line of one.js, sorry. That's 2.js. So it's going to look at this module and read and execute any lines that are going to be unconditionally executed. So it's going to read this again. Now the question is it going to go back to foo and execute this? If it goes back to foo, we should see this message started reading foo once again, and we should see this one already is defined, so it won't be initialized, and this one will be 2, and then we should see a message saying 2 times. But if it doesn't execute the code again and again, we should just skip over all this. It should just not even bother coming here again. And then it should just say message. It should assign a variable, won't print anything. Then it should say message foo.message read from two.js, foo.message, which is simply message from foo. And then it should print again how many times foo was invoked. This should remain the same or should be incremented. So this will really tell us. And then it should come back here and execute this line, and then this line, and this line, and this line. Let's actually give it a whirl. Actually, let's simply refresh this. Okay, the first thing that happens is it says started reading foo.js. Excellent. So that means if I were to okay, so the first thing is it says started reading foo. So it went to one.js, it looked at this line, it said I need to import this module, so it went to foo.js, it assigned the variable, then it printed this line, started reading foo.js. Then it came here, nothing to print, this became 1, and it should print foo.js 1 time. That's what it prints. Foo.js was invoked 1 time. Then it goes back to 1, and it says I need to import two.js, so it goes to two.js. It reads that I need foo again. Now whether or not it prints the rest of the stuff will tell us. It just prints foo.message read from two.js, which means it does not execute this. So that answers our question that this module is executed only once. So let's verify. So it's actually gone to two.js, assigns another variable here, and then it just prints out message foo.message read from two.js. That's what it's printing. And then it prints that this was still invoked just once. So this variable remains at the value 1. And then it goes back to one.js and prints this, and then prints foo.message read from one.js. And one.js reads message from two.js, and then finally prints the count again, which is 1, which answers the question that any module, no matter how many times accessed, will have its code executed just once. But even then, if you're still a little paranoid like I am, you might want to just declare another variable and put some heavy CPU expensive code here. Although it won't actually make a difference, but still, if you're just like extra super careful, then you might want to do the expensive thing. You might want to do that here. That's basically what I wanted to say.
एज घट बिन कहूँ न देखिए, और राम रहा भरपूर, और जिन जाना तिन पास है, दूर कहा उन दूर। तो कबीर जग के जोहरी न घट की आँखी खोल, ए जी तुला सम्हारी विवेक की न तोले शब्द अमोल।
घट बिन कहूं न देखिए, राम रहा भरपूर। घट बिन कहूं न देखिए,
घट बिन कहूं न देखिए।
घट means a place, anywhere. Bin means without. Kahu means say. Na dekhiye means I have not seen. So, oh dear one, do not say that I have not seen him at this place or at any place. Him refers to God. Ram raha bharpur. Ram is everywhere. He is abundant. If you look, he is everywhere. And Ram is not the mythological god Rama who was born of Dasharatha. Ram here comes from the word Rama, means that जो रमा हुआ है, जो तत्व है, यानी that which is the substance that is enmeshed in everything that you see, that you can perceive, you can smell, you can touch, you can feel. That जो रमा हुआ है, that which is enmeshed, that which is the substratum, the underlying, the thing that stands underneath and gives life to everything. That is Ram, जो रमा हुआ है. राम रहा भरपूर, जिन जाना तिन पास है, दूर कहाँ उन दूर. He who finds him near to himself, that is, he who believes that God is with me, to him God appears. जिन जाना तिन पास है, he who believes, to him he will reveal himself in form. दूर कहा उन दूर. He who does not believe, to him God will never appear.
तो कबीर जग के जोहरी न घट की आँखी खोल, ए जी तुला सम्हारी विवेक की न तोले शब्द अमोल. ए जी पारख की दे साध की और साध ही परखे कौन. ए जी गगन मंडल में घर करे और अनहद राखे मून. पट खोल रे तोको पीव मिलेंगे. घूंघट के पट खोल रे तोको पीव मिलेंगे. घट घट में वह साईं बसत है. घट घट में वह साईं बसत है. कटुक वचन मत बोल रे तो पी कटुक बचन मत बोल रे, तो को पीव मिलेंगे। घूंघट के पट खोल रे, तो को पीव मिलेंगे। धन यौवन का गर्वन कीजे, धन यौवन का गर्वन कीजे। झूठा है पच रंग चोल रे, तो पीव मिलेंगे। झूठा है पच रंग चोल रे, तो पीव मिलेंगे। घूंघट के पट खोल रे, तो पीव मिलेंगे। महल में दिवलार बाले, सुन महल में दिवला बाले। आशा से मत डोल रे, तो पीव मिलेंगे। आशा से मत डोल रे, तो पीव मिलेंगे। घूंघट के पट खोल रे, तो पीव मिलेंगे। जुगत से सुन महल में, जोग जुगत से सुन महल में। पिया पायो अनमोल रे, तो पीव मिलेंगे। पिया पायो है अनमोल रे, तो पीव मिलेंगे। घूंघट के पट खो